This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, the return of a positive drinking story. And yes, we will drink until it's with the shot of the day. Our question today, good or bad? What did you find out after the fact? This story comes to us from, I want to say, Minnesota. Several months into the relationship, Missy Brand decided to peek into her boyfriend's wallet. On the one hand, Richie Peterson was a godsend, an Afghani veteran wrapped up in a political science doctorate at the University of Minnesota, who was also divorced with kids, had a motorboat, covered her bills when she lost her job as a flight attendant, blah, blah, blah. But there were things about this guy whom she had met on OurTime.com, a dating site for people in their midlife. Have you heard of this?
No.
I had not either.
But I've only lived the first 10th of my life.
Found an ID in the name of Derek Milan Aldred. And in this long piece, it was in the Atlantic. This guy is apparently just a serial con man with a history of dating, marrying women, and stealing huge sums of money.
They wrote about him in the Atlantic.
It turns out, though, by stealing from people's savings and retirement accounts, basically, even a group of women, after they got together, one woman particularly had him arrested. Two women did meet up and soon stumbled upon an entire group of women who were conned by this guy. And the reality that this guy, Aldred, had not been charged for a crime tied to these women who he reportedly stole over $1 million from, it seemed to count on the fact that with credit card abuse, it's not often taken that seriously by law enforcement when the victim and the perpetrator actually know each other.
Sure.
But they were determined to take him down once they found out that it wasn't a one-time offense. Everyone thinks it's a one-time offense.
Until you realize this is what the guy does.
You married this guy. He screwed you over. He took off. I'm not going to go looking for him. I'm just glad it's done with. He took $20,000, blah, blah, blah. Well, all of them got together and went, wait a minute, that $20,000, he took
that $20,000.
Yeah. Now we got $1 million. Good or bad, what did you find out after the fact? 844-999-OLA.
I do like the fact that the guy kept an article written about him in an unflattering light. He kept the article folded up in his wallet.
That's impressive.
I'm just saying, like, if it's me and the FBI has been looking for me because I've killed 17 people across, I wouldn't keep the article they wrote about me on my wallet. But that's just me. Hello, Tim. Welcome to the men's room.
Cheers, buddies. How you doing?
Hola.
Right on. So I found out that my roommate was a junkie.
How long did that take?
Not as long as it might, as I might have thought. Anyways, I was in the military, living on base. Decided to buy a house, moved off base, and my next door neighbor who used to live on base, we used to hang out, barbecue all the time. Well, he wanted to make some money, so I said, you can move in with me. So he moves in. I'm thinking, he's in the military. He's clean, blah, blah, blah. Brings his girlfriend out from Florida. She seems nice. The only problem with our house is it was a 3-bed, 1-bath, so everybody had to share that bathroom. And I had to go in for a nose surgery. Well, I think it was my 4th one at the time.
Jesus. Why were we getting so many nose surgeries? I
had basically a big armored door and smacked me in the face in the middle of a firefight.
Say no more.
So they're trying to do, just get it so you could breathe through there?
Yeah, pretty much. Fix the septum and all that.
Right.
And so they give you a bunch of pain pills, what have you. And I set my alarm, 6 hours, take this many pills. And my wife comes home. And she's like, how many times your alarm go off? I told her. And she's like, why are a lot of your pills missing? You're taking more than needed. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm taking my pills and passing out. And we're like, well, they're in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom that everybody shares. And we're like, okay. So I had a prescription bottle for seasickness pills. So we take those pills, put them in my pain pill bottle, and put it back in there. My wife and I both count them out. Well, long story short, we found out this chick was snorting my pills, and, she snorted a lot of seasickness pills.
And never sick at sea.
Yeah, but she caught a ton of fish that day. Where everybody else had to take a little break, she was just ripping it up.
So was it her or was it both of them?
No, it was just her because he he was still in the military and he still got tested. And we basically said, hey, he told us, we told him, we didn't confront her first. We confronted him and said, I think she's taking my pills. And he looked at us and goes, oh, crap, I thought she was off of that. I'm like, what do you mean off of that? What else was she on? And he listed a whole list of drugs.
Oh, look, man, I've got an uncle and I've got a dad that live in Florida. And as much as we know about weed, which we know different strains, what different types of weed do, edibles, all these different things that probably the average person who never smoked weed would just be like,
of course,
I know you're a hippie smoking, weed smoking dude, whatever. We know a lot more about that. But when you go to Florida, the average person, their knowledge of pharmaceuticals is insane. As far as
a hotbed, man.
My dad has a tackle box. I'm not kidding you. A fishing tackle box full of drugs. Not weed, nothing like pills.
Yeah.
Different
How many
types
does he need? What percentage of them were given? I know he's had hip surgeries
he's
and
had
all that.
Kinds of surgeries, but I mean, like, he doesn't have one type of pain pill. He's got 9. And the one type of pain pill he has it in 5 different milligram forms or time release forms.
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, you're like, how do you know that? If you weren't a pharmacist, how in the hell? And in Florida, they had so many of these pain places for so many years.
Didn't they have like drive-through?
They basically drive. I mean, the hell, that's what a few radio hosts got busted doing, going to each individual drug place and getting their own thing from different doctors, whatever. But I mean, even my friends who are from Florida who don't do drugs know everything about prescription drugs.
Sure.
It's just what they do.
100%.
Which is just Florida, I guess, to some degree.
I think sometimes it's just age, too. Like,
there's an older population there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. I have some friends of the family that are a little bit older. And, like, one lady, it's like, she's like a heroin junkie. Like, she's supposed to be somewhere, takes a couple of those pills, and then she's just gone. Like, she just nods off. Or even, like, my mom was in her kitchen, and I go, are you a rapper? She's like, what do you mean? I go, why do you have a bottle of codeine just sitting out there?
Jesus Christ.
Are you sipping syrup? Like, she's like, I don't know. It's something cold a while ago.
Things have changed in retirement.
All right.
You checked out Lil Wayne? No.
Did you sip some syrup, man? One of your primary ingredients right there. You didn't hook it up for yourself?
She didn't have any Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, lame ass.
Herp. Good or bad?
Don't stay at a hotel.
Good or bad? What did you find out after the fact? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Well, I got a story for you guys.
All right.
So I met this woman. I won't say where because might give away too much info. But we used to fool around, and she used to give me some. I don't know if I could say this on the radio.
Then don't.
A little oral.
Right. Well, if you will. Yeah. That's why we kind of figured you didn't just like meet up and shake hands, and then that was the sex, and then you left. We know the game when you get in there.
Oh, dude, come on! Once again, bedroom colors. Here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
I don't want to tell you where I met Brenda.
Yeah, we can piece together. We don't need all the.
I'll be less delicate next time. Like, dude, we know what happens when 2 people hook up. Whether you're paying for it out of the Craigslist or whatever the deal is, or you get it off of a frickin' exit.
Well, we're also adults, so if you said, yeah, we would have sex, like, okay.
We're good.
We'd have sex, we still fooled around. All right.
We got it.
She hooked me up while I was driving.
Right. In the car.
We did it.
Right.
We know.
Yes.
She's not map questing. We know what she's doing when she, quote unquote, hooks you up on the drive.
Yeah, we fathom it, and knowledge is power.
Nice use of the word knowledge. Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's take 2 here. Good or bad, what did you find out after the fact?
I kind of wonder what he found out after.
Probably venereal disease.
That's my
Well,
guess.
couldn't have been.
Why is that?
This was...
Well, I mean, it probably progressed after that.
I'm
right?
going to guess.
You could.
It's got to be VD. Like,
that's what it was. Well, he said they were doing the other thing.
They were,
but maybe. I mean,
maybe that's the moment he found out because if you brought up the fact, hey, we were having sex, and you found us either she got pregnant or you got an STD, right?
Mm-hmm. No, what ended up happening is he tried to go for more than that, and she said, "Well, here's the deal: I have herpes."
Oh,
okay. So she was helping the guy out.
Okay.
She was helping him out.
Well, by
give
not
it a heads up.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Ew.
there's a little, okay, not to get too crazy here, but there's a little unwritten rule in that world where if you have it, no matter where before you get to that point, it is understood that you have to be the guy or the woman to have that conversation with somebody.
Well, what if you're Usher?
Then you probably...
Is he the one? Am I saying the right person?
You probably...
Everyone thinks they
whoever
gave him-
it is,
Okay.
it doesn't matter who you are, you got to sit down and have that conversation. I have had the conversation told to me a couple different times. I'm pretty sure that if I can recall correctly, because I don't date much, I have had the conversation as well. So there's an
Right, so
unwritten
good
rule
for her for helping her, like just saying, hey,
absolutely,
sure,
Like,
time out.
Yes, that's what you probably should do. But don't think for 1 minute that also, depending on what kind of thing you've got going on, that isn't a way to transmit that.
You don't know. You don't know.
Depending
That's
on
all,
what's
man.
going on, yeah.
Well, it's like if I had a wild lion in my closet,
Right.
like when people come over, I should say, hey, fair warning, open my closet door.
I got a wild line in there.
But I like that
Exactly.
you don't say, don't open my closet door. You're like, if you do, just know there's a wild lion in there. Don't
Well,
ask
if I
questions
said
why.
don't open the door and the lion
go
got
on.
out and attacked somebody, they say Ted never warned me. So just straight up. That's like sometimes when I go to somebody's new, like if I go to somebody new to me
Yeah.
and I go to their house and I don't know them, and it's weird, right? Because I'm just kind of judging them on who they are. I'll walk in and go, "Do you own a snake?" And they'll be like, "No, why do you ask?" I go, "I don't know." I want to be like, because in my head, you look like the kind of person that would own a snake, and I hate them.
You might as well be honest, because you already asked a ridiculous question. Hey, hey, good seeing you again, man. Come on in. Hey, man, do you own a snake? But who is the crazy dude? Who is this insane? So at that point, you might as well say, listen, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I don't like snakes to freak me out, and frankly, you look like one of those dudes that would own a snake.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
You
I
look
think that's fair,
slithery.
man.
Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Less, a positive drinking story holds the key to a long life. And we've got your emails coming up as well from the men's room at mensroomlive.com. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
A question, good or bad? What did you find out after the fact? Here come those emails from the men's room at mensroomlive.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Guys, a friend and I took some girls back to their place. Everything went great, and I attributed an increased smell of sex to the dance hall sweat. Everything went great altogether. Woke up the next morning in the bathroom. One of those ladies said, "Don't flush, the water's off." It's been off for a while. Not sure how long it'd been since they showered, but I guess the sex was worth it. That from Ryan in Fort Hood, Texas.
You got to be quick on that in the morning time, man.
What do you mean?
Saying, like, the water doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
Well, people get up earlier than me.
Yeah,
So,
go
yeah.
ahead. That's why you got to leave a note like water did not work.
Right.
Right, I would say it generally, like, I feel like when I get up, it's time to poo.
The first order of business.
Found out, guys, after my ex and I broke up that at one point I got her pregnant and she had an abortion and never told me. Not sure how to feel about it. Her body, her right. Not sure if I wanted a kid, but I guess I would have wanted to be a part of the discussion. That from Jeremy. Guys, this was actually my father, but anyway, in high school, he drove a Ford truck with a railroad tie for a front bumper. Went to a party, was sick of the party, was leaving and noticed a piece of crap car with Batman bats painted all over it. He said it was on blocks and the wheels were missing. Anyway, it was parked on the edge of a gulch near the house party, and he decided to punt it off the ledge with his truck, basically. Just ram it and knock it over the side of the hill, right? No harm, no foul. Roll the clock 8 years down the road when he starts dating my mom. He's hanging out at a family function when my mom's father, my grandfather, starts telling the story about how he had to pay $2,000 to have multiple tow trucks tow my uncle's bat car out of the gulch. My uncle still claims that it was not a piece of crap and still had all the wheels. To this day, don't know which one is telling the truth. My grandfather passed away, and I don't think anyone ever told him it was my dad that pushed the car off the cliff.
Yeah, I think I'll just keep that under wraps.
Guys work one day and asked to take down an exit sign. That was weird wired in the attached ceiling tile, which was directing the way out. I asked the electrician, I need to take this exit sign down from the ceiling. Is power turned off for the sign? He didn't look at me, but he answered, yeah, it's turned off. I was about 8 feet up on a 10-foot step ladder, and I started the process of taking the sign down. Fast forward a bit, I remember my body and my face tensing up, and I screamed loudly and then blacked out. Came to, on the floor, had landed on a stack of ceiling light fixtures, tried to stand up and couldn't. Foreman asked me what happened, and I told him the electrician was also there, and he replied, I didn't know which sign you were talking about, but those signs are all still wired. I destroyed several tendons and ligaments, which required surgery to repair. Never trust anybody like that. That from the Bonnie Lake Cowboy. Only time I ever bought a new car was a disaster. We had trouble getting financing for several days, and suddenly one bank was okay with us. Unbeknownst to us, the dealership's finance guy manipulated some numbers and left out our $500 in sales taxes. The bank later told me that if that extra $500 had been on the application, they would have rejected it, but now we had the car and didn't find out what we had done until time to put a license on it. Had an extra $500 tab to cover before we could put the license plate. That was the money we had allocated for the first payment, so the bank got to do without. When I tried to talk to the owner of the dealership about it, his attitude was, so what, we got ours, the rest is your problem. End of story, the car was repoed, we went bankrupt, car salesmen wonder why people don't trust him. That's
Damn.
the day. Golly. I have time for a few extra emails here from the men's room at mensroomlive.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
On to the birthdays. Let's see here. Boo bitches, it's my 23rd trip around the sun. I'd love a big old Leroy Jenkins. Thanks, guys. That from Thomas.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
All the dinosaurs. Please wish Melissa a happy 24th trip around the sun with some turtle sex and maybe a little bitter batter from Mike. Thanks, guys. She would love it. Thanks from her fiance, Christmas. Fiance named Christmas.
Lloyd?
Betty bought her some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So just better, Betty bought a bit of better butter.
Today marks my 26th revolution around the sun. Was hoping to hear the birthday song and get some love from my bald and bearded, dirty German brethren. Thanks, guys, and rock on. That from John.
Yeah, John, I do not know what you want to eat tonight, but I'll be giving you chestnuts.
Yeah, and bald and bearded describes me and your penis.
Bitches, today is me and my wife Tina's birthday. I bet that's probably Tommy and Tina. Could you give me some turtle wax with a Joey Chestnut in the paws? Thanks, guys. Appreciated that from Brian.
Joey Chestnut! Joey Chestnut!
Guys, writing it for myself this year, 26 years old, hoping to see if I can get a Git from Thrill, a bit of Ozzy Ted, and some German from Wobbin. Maybe even some Tom Shane. Thanks, guys. Love the show. Listen every day. That from Casey.
Yeah, is that Casey or Sheila?
Don't know.
All right. Ted here from Melbourne. Maybe I'll come on down from down under and go play with your moist platypus.
Ja, vorlichen Geburtstag.
Back to licking the boat staff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be such a tough question for Melbourne, Ted.
Casey, I'll put my glitter all over your face. All the bitches, today's my friend Sheldon's birthday. He's celebrating 26 years on Earth. Great guy with a huge wiener. He told me to put that in. He'd love a Joey Chestnut and an Alan Thicke. Thanks, guys. That from Toby.
Joey Chestnut!
That's fun.
Today's my fiance's birthday. He is Matt. Gonna get the Dirty Germans. Happy 33rd, honey. I love you. Warmly, that from Rebecca.
Yeah, I've never met you, but I know your ass is like a mirror, because I see myself in it.
Yeah, grab some donuts and put them on my tower. Be like, we're having dessert.
Oh, guys, it's my older brother Gabe's 38th birthday. I was hoping you guys could give him a little turtle wax and a Joey Chestnut. Thanks so much. Happy birthday, Gabe, and rock on, guys.
Joey Chestnut!
Uh-oh, look out.
Guys, it's my awesome friend Hubert's birthday. Please give him some turtle wax. Do we have the Francis McDormand from the other day in there, Robin? Is that make it? All right, we'll get that in there for you. Just fill something in the gap there. Happy birthday, Hubert. Thanks for all the awesome shows and all the laughs. That from Nidal.
Let's pull it in, Jay. Come on.
Drop the beat.
Bitches, it's my dad, Kelly's birthday. He's a night foreman on Harbor Island in Seattle. He's 54 today. Let's make him feel awkward with some Dirty Germans. That from Dan the Viking.
Yeah, nothing to be awkward about. Just relax. I'm going to use your butt as a condom.
Yeah, I hear you work on the docks. Maybe I'll dock my ship in your harbor, Kelly.
Bitches want to wish my husband Brian happy 43rd. He's a great husband, father, and friend. Can you give him your penis is too small? And a bong rip. Love from your wife, Chrissy. And finally, from the birthdays, guys, how about a birthday shout-out today for my 62nd trip around the sun? I've been listening to you guys ever since you left the dark side of the East Coast. How about the Dirty Germans at the Rusty Rudder at Dewey Beach grabbing a beer together? Thanks, guys. That from Steve.
Yeah, if you want to visit the Rusty Rudder, I will have to open my pants.
Yeah, we're here at Dewey Beach, which I love. And we have to make sure we go over to the bottle and cork. I'll bring the cork.
I want to visit his Dewey Beach.
I just gotta say for the record, I do love that beach.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It is.
Yeah. It's fun.
I'll meet you for Suicide Sundays at Starboard.
All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, bitches. See the hubcaps there?
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
We both know it's going to be Mr. Green Jeans.
Exactly. Or the hubcaps. You never know. Guys, as far as what happened to your downstairs area, my buddy lost one of his testicles when he was in his 20s. His dad also lost one of his testicles when he was a young man as well.
I'm assuming it's disease,
That's
not
from
just
Matt.
happenstance,
You get
right?
the family together, you get a full sack.
Family
The way
jewel.
he says that, though, is like they're just falling out.
Right.
Guys, I was born with a condition called, oh boy, hypospadias. It's where instead of your urine and semen coming out of the same hole, you have a tiny hole somewhere else along your urethra. So I guess you have two. Sometimes it's halfway down, sometimes it's near the tip like mine is. To where it should be, it's underneath more so. And I was like 13 even before I knew something was different. Was watching some porn with friends. When a guy finished, I'm like, wow, that's coming out of the big hole there. All of my friends looked at me and said, like, what? I said, yeah, don't you guys do that out of the bottom one and then the pee comes out of the big one? So no woman has noticed unless I told them. The benefit, distance. I'm 43 and I can pee over a fence. And as far as yeah, think about the difference between turning a hose on and then putting your thumb over the end of a hose across the room.
Right.
Yeah, because of the birth defect. Anyway, I try to keep it as medical as possible and hope she'll read it. Thank you, Jay. You did a great job.
I can pee over a fence.
And this one comes from Emily. Oh man. It says, guys,
Hello.
I had an ingrown hair in my region that was so irritated that it became infected and turned into a cyst within days. Oh. Think of a small, bouncy ball underneath your skin. Went to the doc to get it drained and packed, and the doctor told me she couldn't numb the pubic area, to which I called her a liar. But I thought my pain threshold was high, so I let them cut into me. I sat there cursing and squeezing the life out of the poor nurse's hand as she drained the entire thing. Well, whole process takes about 3 minutes, which to this day, longest 3 of my life. She then told me to come back in 3 days to have it unpacked, and we'd see where we're at, right? People in the waiting room of the small office and the receptionist could only stare, mouths agape, as I walked out to my car. Fast forward, day 3, 4 a.m. I decide I can't take the pain any longer, go to the ER. Mind you, I've only been to the ER once in 25 years for a split chin when I was 3. Sure enough, they had no problem numbing it, did what they have to do, drained it, patched it, gave me antibiotics, and sent me on my way. Luckily, I bitched enough to the office manager at the doctor's office that the doctor quit and then moved to Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah. Cheers, fellas. That from Health Inspector Red.
Red?
Red. Very nice.
We just imagined your vagina.
Still to come.
No, I hate to say
Yeah,
it, but
I
like
know.
if you go by red, you're talking about ingrown hair, and like the first thing I thought
I
of
get it.
was your vagina.
That's it. There you go. Coming up, the return of a positive drinking story holds the key to a long life. But first,
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks less.
yay! Time once again for Who Sucks Less. Stephen Throwhill, you bring us 3 stories from the news every week. It's
Sure
up to
do.
us to determine which of these 3 stories suck the least. Now, if you like the Men's Room on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live, the debate is already underway in Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed. And today, as always, we bring you 3 stories. And basically, the states of Oregon will be competing against the city of Chicago, competing against the state of Florida. So as a quick overview, a woman in Florida and a woman in Oregon and the teacher in Florida, they're both on the racial tip. An employee in Chicago, he's more on the monetary tip, and we covered him yesterday. But let's start in Oregon, where an Oregon woman is facing jail time after being found guilty of repeatedly calling two young children, ages 4 and 11, the N-bomb, and then hitting their mom in the head with a beer bottle when the mother went over to complain, all right? So the two boys, as I said, age 4 to 11, they're playing in the courtyard of a Portland apartment complex, and they catch the attention of one Brenda Mae Glenn. Man, oh man, she's easy on the eyes if you're blind. Now, it's not illegal. It's not illegal to call a young child the N-bomb in Oregon, but it is illegal to hit someone in the head with a 40-ounce bottle of Hurricane malt liquor, which is what she was found guilty of doing to the boy's mother. Now, the mother said when she confronted her, she basically emptied out the bottle and bumped her over the forehead with it. But since she had yelled racist insults at the children before assaulting her mother, prosecutors pursued the hate crime charge. The defense attorney argued that since the racial slurs were only hurled at the children, there's no evidence that her attack on the mother was racially motivated, which is ridiculous, but the law's the law. Anyway, the woman moved out of the apartment complex after the assault, skipped her sentencing back in February, leaving a voicemail about how she needed to get her orders or get her affairs in order before being sentenced. So now currently she's a wanted felon.
All right.
They are now looking for her. All right, now let's go to Chicago. And we brought this up yesterday where, I guess, tactics pretty rough in the business of online dinner reservations. So an employee at Open Table, that's the nation's #1 such service, made 300 fake reservations over 3 months at dozens of Chicago restaurants through the rival service called Reserve. And the idea was to make Reserve look bad. So as many as 1,300 expected diners did not show up, including on Valentine's Day, which, of course, represents a significant loss of income for any restaurant. Now, Reserve figured out the scheme after looking into the data. Then they notified Open Table, who then fired their employee a day later, making clear that the person acted alone, etc., etc. And now let's go to Florida, where a Florida middle school teacher, she'd been hosting a white nationalist podcast. She's been pulled from the classroom as the school district investigates the claims. Diana Voltich, she's a 25-year-old social studies teacher at Crystal River Middle School. She hosted a white nationalist podcast. Ted, you already know this, Unapologetic. And she did it under an alias, but the news outlet made the inference based on information posted online by the woman where they said, look, her picture's the same, her bio's the same, the last name is the same, all she did was change her first name. But she had bragged just last month on her podcast about introducing some of her racist views into the classroom. This was in an interview. In the same episode, she boasted about bringing her white nationalist beliefs into the classroom and hiding their ideology from administrators. She said that when parents complained to the school principal about how she's injecting political bias, she just lied to the principal and said it wasn't true. She also posted racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-Muslim rhetoric on social media under another alias. Anyway, they relieved her from her teaching duties as they investigate. So we have the woman in Oregon who is insulting young children and then smacks her mother over the head with a empty 40-ounce bottle of Hurricane malt liquor.
That was the amazing part.
We can say that she smokes. She sucks the most, right?
I can.
I'm going to say the Oregon woman, without question, physically assaults someone.
Yeah, I'll say she sucks the most. Yeah. Well, right, because she physically hits somebody.
Screaming at kids, that's not really necessarily, and then she hits someone. So there's a reason she's a wanted felon.
Mostly because she skipped her sentencing.
Right. Yes, exactly. Not because she hit somebody with a bottle of a
That just made her a felon. Right. Yeah. Now she's a wanted
I know
felon.
A lot of people are going to say the employee at Open Table making the fake reservations. A lot of people, I think, are going to be like, oh, that sucks the least. It's pretty easy.
It impacts a lot of people.
So that's what I was going to say.
Servers, bartenders.
So, right, you're affecting a lot of people's jobs, not only for the future with how their restaurants do, but for that night, you made all those reservations. Like, waiters and bartenders count on tips.
And a lot of this was done on Valentine's, too.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, you're booking up a night that traditionally, but not only are you losing money, but you're also not taking in additional customers because they truly believe that the restaurant is booked. Well, so the amount of money is exponential. You have a fake person who's supposed to be there, they're not there. You have other people you could fill in that spot who would actually spend money. And then you're paying the staff that doesn't have any tables because there's no one there.
The only people, honestly, that aren't really affected are the cooks because they generally just get a flat rate.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They don't want to be there not doing anything, but like the servers, man, they count on that money to pay their rent, mortgages, etc.
But I also struggle to say the teacher who's the white supremacist sucks the least. But I will say, I guess it's not illegal to be a white supremacist.
I bet her podcast sucks. I'd be curious to see how many people download it.
Like you don't already listen to it.
You know what I mean? Like, does this affect 10 people? I mean, how many people are really listening to this woman?
But it's not about her podcast. It's that on her podcast, she makes mention she's going to bring it into the class.
She's going to bring it into the class.
See, here's the like,
All right.
I don't care about, there's racists everywhere. And no offense to racists, don't care. Good for you. Be a coward. Have a nice life. But once you say you're going to bring it into the classroom, that's what's like, hey, come on. And the thing is, keep in mind, she already has. By her own admission, she already has. And the few parents that have complained to the principal, she just denies it to the principal.
I'm going to say she still sucks at least because she's out of there. So she's not going to be able to do that now. She can't affect the kids anymore. Did she get fired?
She has not been fired.
All right. Okay.
She's on leave. I think she will be, but she has not been yet.
Right, that's the big issue, right?
I like racist teacher on this one, but I'm not sure.
Right, if she was just doing the podcast, it's one thing. But once she introduced it into the curriculum...
Right, that's
right. Like,
and that's by her own admission. That's by her own admission.
Right, so at that point, she's either trying to recruit more younger white people to join her views or just make the other students feel absolutely hard.
So, but who sucks? You got the guy who, in theory, by making the reservations, it affects people financially. And it's a pretty significant
What city
financial
was this
hit.
in?
Chicago is where the guy called.
All right, I'll say that guy sucks the least. Chicago's got a lot of people. Hopefully these bartenders do all
I'm
right.
just saying it so you don't side with the racist.
Yes.
If you like
all right,
the,
I don't want to side with the racist supremacist.
I knew it.
If you like
Your
the,
face said, I don't believe what I'm going to tell you, but I don't want to sound like a racist.
If you like the men's room on Facebook, debate is underway. Most people say the open table people sucks the least. I'm still sticking with, I'm going with racist teacher.
Yeah, I think I have to agree, man. Racist teacher.
Just because podcast racist. Give me her for the win. All right, we're going to drink a toast coming up. The shot of the day is on the way. We hold the key to a long and prosperous life coming up next with the return of a positive drinking story. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitches. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Coming up, we will drink a toast. The shot of the day is minutes away, but first.
And now, the Men's Room presents another positive drinking story.
All right, time for a positive drinking story. Ironically enough, right before the shot of the day, another positive drinking story before we bring this up, and we just mentioned it. A Men's Room Original Red, as far as doing a little good, every time you pick up a delicious Men's Room Original Red, you're benefiting the local Fisher houses in the area, and we appreciate that, whether you're getting the black, the gold, the red, whatever you do, just know that by drinking beer, you're doing some good. Now, as far as this new study, they found that the key to living a good, long, healthy life is drinking alcohol.
Oh, all right.
There you go. According to a massive new study, and this is a big one, by a neurologist named Claudia Kawas at the University of California, the key to living a long life, quite simply, is alcohol. She studied more than 1,700 people over 90 years old for the past 15 years and found the people who drank around 2 glasses of beer or wine a day were 18% less likely to die early. That is significant because people who exercise between 15 and 45 minutes a day, they were only 11% less likely to die early.
You go to the gym, I'll go to the bar, kiss my ass.
But that's serious. If you had 2 drinks for most of your life, you were 18% less likely to die early. If you exercised 15 to 45 minutes a day, you were only 11% less likely to die early. In other words, alcohol is more effective at keeping you alive than actual exercise.
I rest my case.
Which is not a bad
thing.
I have
no more to say.
The good news, by the way, it
2 drinks, though, right?
2 drinks a day. Yes, if you do any more than that, probably headed down a bad road. But
I look at it like this, Ted. A lot of people go to the gym and they get on the treadmill, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they normally go 30 minutes, but this day they decided to go an hour and a half. People say, wow, that's impressive. So to me, what I am doing, much like the guy that stayed on the treadmill, an additional 60 minutes to improve his health, I, planning for the future, Ted, will go ahead and have like 6 or 7 or 8 drinks. Because I'm trying to get ahead, see? That way I can have a cheat day where I don't drink.
Miles, what if I only drink 1 day a week and have 14 drinks?
I don't think that's going to work the same according to the survey.
But it works out.
But I respect the theory because that's how I try to logically get by with it. But the good news does not stop there.
That's how I try to do it.
Okay,
just 1 day, 14 drinks.
This study is unbelievable. Again,
super healthy.
You're going to live longer if you have 2 alcoholic beverages a day than if you exercise between 15 and 45 minutes a day, according to the study. Now, she also found, is it better to be a little bit chubby, just a little bit overweight, or a little bit underweight.
I would think overweight.
Very thin or a little bit of weight on you. What's better?
I would think a little bit of weight. I don't base this on anything other than, I don't know, you just look healthier to me.
People who are slightly overweight but not obese were 3% less likely to die early. Coffee drinkers, here's more good news. People who drank 2 cups of coffee a day were 10% less likely to die early. And there's one other factor that apparently keeps you from dying early and living a long and healthy life. Do you know what it is?
Don't have kids.
That's probably a very important one. That's a good one,
Ted
too.
is swinging for the fences now.
Believe it or not,
coffee beer.
Right. Make it bacon, man.
Believe it or not, having a daily hobby, something that you do for 2 hours a day, and they said that could be anything from walking.
We all thought the same thing.
Playing an instrument, masturbation.
No, I can't do it for 2 hours,
Yeah,
man.
you have a hobby and you can do it a couple hours every day. You are 21% less likely to die. Gardening, all that other
I need
stuff.
a hobby.
So again, 1 to 2 glasses of alcohol a day, you're 18% less likely to die. 15 to 45 minutes of exercise, 11%. Exercise wins. Speaking of, have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast, once again, 24-year-old Lamar Chambers of Essex, England. Much like Charles Barkley hosting Saturday Night Live for the 4th time, Lamar is making his 4th appearance as our shot of
First
the
time
day.
this has ever happened.
It's the first time, but this guy, man, he has what you would call stick-to-itiveness. If you're not familiar, Lamar was arrested in England on January 17th on suspicion of possession of drugs or drug trafficking, whatever. The point is, at the time of his arrest, he swallowed the evidence, which would be the drugs. Cops said, that's great. We throw his ass in jail. Eventually, he'll poop them out. We'll sort it out. We have our evidence. We can proceed with the case. Well, he started holding his poop, and keep in mind, he is still eating. He's not eating. He is eating. He's just not pooping. He has refused to poop. He said almost a week ago he would rather die than poop. That's not a statement a lot of people make, but in his case, he's been kept in this jail cell under 24-hour observation because the moment he poops, they're digging for the drugs, okay? This is the scenario. That's not out the window. I want you to understand, he has made it to day 47. He still has not pooped, but here's the genius of his plan. Based on the way English law works, they can keep you in jail, I think, up to 5 days at a time before they have to ask a judge for an extension, all right? The judge kept giving it to them because they understood what the situation is. He's got the drugs in him. He's just refusing to poop. Well, guess what? To get him to poop, because they're sending him to the hospital now, because they don't want him to die. Like, we kind of like the guy. We don't want him to die. I just want him to poop. But he won't do it. They had to drop the drug charges against him. They hit him with a lesser charge. He beat the drug charges because he held to poop 47 days. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bitchola!
Get caller 9 on the line now, 844-999-HOLA.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.